Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Leatherneck Insider. I'm Johnny Jazarowski.
And I'm Jack Bell. Macomb High senior golfer Connor Ham recently announced his commitment to play Division I golf at Bradley University. Ham ended his high school career taking home the Class 2A regional title with an even par 72 and finishing 4th place in state with a score of 140, which was school best for Macomb High. After an outstanding regular season with a record of 30-5, the Macomb High volleyball team secured the 2 seed heading into the postseason. Here's Johnny Jazarowski for more.
The Macomb High volleyball team finished the regular season strong with 30 wins, which is 2 away from the school record. Head coach Brianna Rexroth reflects on the team's season.
We have a lot of really good ball control and team chemistry. The girls come in with intensity every day at practice. They work together really well. We have a strong pass that allows Avery, our setter, to run a quick offense. She's been running our offense for 4 years now, and she does a good job of mixing it up. We have some strong offense. Kennedy Adair, Sam Urge, they really come through for us and lead in kills.
Despite the Bombers' 30-5 record, they're always looking to improve.
We're trying to figure out, what are those, a lot of the games we've lost by 2 points or 3 points, and we're trying to find out where we can get some of those 2 or 3 points. So we're trying to mix up our offense more and get more hitters involved, getting some different kills, attacking the ball when it's up on the net for overpasses, little simple points that, may get away from us but could make a difference in the long stretch of a game.
With the Bombers heading into the postseason, Rexroth and the team are keeping an 0-0 mentality.
We have 30 wins, but we always talk about how when regionals come up, everyone's 0-0 right now. So a team that has over 20 wins and 30 wins can lose the first round of regionals. So we got to show up, we got to be prepared, take care of our bodies, take care of our health, and just be ready to play.
Reporting for Leatherneck Insider, I'm Johnny Jazarowski.
Thanks, Johnny. After a COVID-shortened season last year and going winless the year before, the Macomb High football team and new head coach Tanner Horrell will make their first playoff appearance since 2012. The Bombers clinched a spot in the playoffs last Friday with a 36-28 win over Illini West. They finished off the regular season with a 6-3 record and a 4-3 record in conference, taking the 10th seed in the playoffs. The Bombers will face off against Murfreesboro this Saturday, who is the 7th seed and is also 6-3.
Transitioning into Leatherneck sports, reporter Daniel Anaya joins us in the studio to talk about one WIU athlete who made the trip across the pond.
Thanks, Johnny and Jack. The majority of the women's golf team, with an exception of 2 players, is made up of people born and raised in the good old US of A. One of those 2 players has had their first season, and although it's her first, she's already making a statement.
Olivia Kerr, originally from Sydney, Australia, made the massive jump from the big city of Sydney to the small town of Macomb. As you can imagine, she had to face a lot of changes, but not without the help of our one and only Coach Leah.
So I'm from the big city, so the change to the small town was massive. Back in Australia, we play really long golf courses, and changing it to here, they're shorter golf courses, flatter some places. I play really hilly golf courses back home, and I play on the coast near the water and the beach, so it's a lot more windier back home. Coach was really good. She showed me the golf courses before we were playing. She really helped me learn about the different grasses and how to hit shots off them, because it's very different changing to here. And she's been working hard on my shorter game, which has really helped with the shorter courses. She's helped really with adapting to the small town, really. That was the biggest shock, trying to get used to it, knowing everyone knowing you, which has really helped.
Most people wouldn't have a good reason to leave Sydney, Australia, but for Olivia Kerr, this was probably the best decision.
Coach, really, she was one of the first coaches that I talked to. Her experience on the tour, her experience coaching, she's had many years experience, really intrigues me to moving here. The solid goal is to either become pro, go on the tour, or become a teaching pro, maybe get a job at the college, and just want to become the best that I can, shoot some low numbers.
Olivia Kerr ended the season averaging a 77 per round and a season low of 71. This is only her first year playing, and with a season like this, the women's golf team has a promising future ahead of them. The women's golf team will be back better than ever, competing this spring. Johnny and Jack, although they don't have a set schedule yet, they're expected to play sometime in February.
Thank you, Daniel. The WIU women's soccer team went on the road and swept their weekend series. They started with a 1-0 win over the Roos of Kansas City. Amy Andrews was once again the story for the Leathernecks in their 2-1 win to wrap up the road trip at Oral Roberts. Andrews scored her 10th goal of the season, the 24th goal for her career, which both tie program records. She will get a chance to break both records when Western holds North Dakota State on October 29th and wrap up the season on October 31st as they welcome the Hawks from North Dakota. The Leathernecks need to sweep both games this weekend for a chance to make it to the Summit League Championship in Denver, Colorado.
The Western Illinois women's volleyball team concluded their 4-game homestand this past weekend as they dropped 2 heavily contested matches against the top 2 teams in the conference standings in Omaha and Denver. The Leathernecks look to get back in the win column as they travel to North Dakota on October 28th. The girls will round out their road trip with a game against North Dakota State on October 30th.
Coming up after the break, we will discuss the Western Illinois basketball programs as they kick off their 2021-2022 season with exhibition games. Leatherneck insider reporter Trevor Davis previews the women's season when we come back.
Western Illinois University. Our beginnings in 1902 focused on providing affordable teacher education training. We've changed with the times and excelled through the years. Today, Western is positioned for the next 100 years and beyond. Affordability of diverse academic programs, outstanding learning opportunities, and hands-on experiences provide excellent job placement for our graduates. This is Western, forever Western.
Welcome back to Leatherneck Insider. The Western Illinois women's basketball team took the floor for the first time in the 2021-2022 campaign. The women competed in an exhibition match last night at Western Hall against Columbia College, earning the victory 90-56. Senior Evan Zars led the way with 17 points while grabbing 9 rebounds and adding 3 blocks in her 22 minutes on the floor.
Reporter Trevor Davis had the opportunity to talk with WIU women's basketball guard senior Elizabeth Lutz about her team's upcoming season.
Western Illinois women's basketball is right around the corner, and the Leathernecks will begin their season against 2 big-time teams in Notre Dame and Butler. Senior Elizabeth Lutz sees this as an exciting opportunity.
Really exciting to get to play against teams like that, and I think growing up you always dream of being on the floor with that type of caliber of team and those types of players. So no matter what, I think it's just a humbling experience to get to play in those types of arenas and those type of facilities against those type of players.
The Leathernecks were picked to finish 7th in the Summit League this year, but Lutz says the team isn't focused on preseason rankings.
Not necessarily something that's a significant matter of importance to us, but I do think it's important to recognize because I think that we're going to surprise a lot of people.
A couple of new faces will be joining Western in their quest to surprise the voters as they add transfers Jada Thorpe and Adea Moore. Lutz says the transfers will be a big boost to the team.
And it's been cool to see their perspectives coming from bigger programs and seeing how our style contrasts kind of with how their style used to be. And we play a very unique style of basketball, especially compared to a lot of those BCS programs. So I think that they've done a really good job of picking up on JD's style and JD's program and how we play. And so I think they've really been able to fit in pretty seamlessly, and I think that they're going to be able to really contribute on the court this year.
Reporting for Leatherneck Insider, I'm Trevor Davis.
Thanks, Trevor. The Western Illinois men's basketball team gets their season underway October 27th inside Western Hall as they welcome the University of Illinois Springfield. Tip-off is set for 6 p.m. and admission to the game is free of charge. Go check out the 2021-2022 squad.
When we come back, reporter Kylie Rogers discusses quarterback Connor Sampson's new career mark. Also, Johnny and I will break down last weekend's biggest upsets in college football. Do not go anywhere.
Your vision.
I plan on working for an agricultural company and eventually running my family's farm.
Our mission.
My professors are invested in my success. Western helped me find an excellent internship with a leading agricultural company.
This is Western Illinois University.
I am a success story. I am a Leatherneck.
We are back here in the studio. Leatherneck quarterback Connor Sampson had another career day against North Dakota. Leatherneck insider reporter Kylie Rogers has more.
Western Illinois lost 34-10 Saturday against North Dakota. They played another great first half of football, but were held scoreless in the second half behind the strong Fighting Hawk defense. Despite the loss, the veteran quarterback Connor Sampson broke his single-season record of passing yards from 2019. Sampson currently sits with 2,359 yards and has produced at least 20 completions in every game this year. That includes 4 showings of 30 or more completions. As the season is near the end, Connor discussed his biggest growing point while in the position he is at.
I think the biggest growing point is just being here for the team, honestly. I've been here for now 6 years, and I just want to be the best team player that I can possibly be each year for our guys.
Connor Sampson and company will look to take on in-state rival Illinois State this weekend. Reporting for Leatherneck Insider, I'm Kylie Rogers.
Thank you for the report, Kylie. As we stay here in college football, there were plenty of big upsets to go around this weekend. Johnny, take us through your biggest upset of the weekend.
So the unranked Fighting Illini took down the 7th-ranked Penn State Nittany Lions 20-18 in the longest college football game in history. The 23.5-point underdogs dominated both sides of the ball through the regulation before the game was decided in the 9th overtime. Despite only having 38 passing yards, Illinois was able to control the game on the ground with 357 rushing yards. The defense was able to hold Sean Clifford and Penn State to just 227 total yards. A week after losing to Iowa on the road, the college football playoffs just got harder for James Franklin's squad. They will have to take on the test of 3 top-ranked teams that includes Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State. That was my biggest upset from the week. Jack, what was yours?
My upset of the weekend happened on a Thursday night in Boone, North Carolina, as the Mountaineers of Appalachian State knocked off the 14th-ranked Chanticleers from Coastal Carolina. The win marks the first win over a ranked opponent since 2007 when they took down number 5 Michigan in the Big House. Former Clemson quarterback Chase Bryce put the Nears in control of their own destiny as they look to lock up a spot in the Sun Belt Championship. Just a year removed from a 2-9 season at Duke, Bryce has flipped the script and is playing like a big-time signal caller for App State. Another big-time upset came out of the Big 12 as powerhouse Oklahoma State got knocked off by Iowa State in Ames.
It was a back-and-forth matchup for the entire game, with Oklahoma State taking an early 7-0 lead. The Cyclones scored 10 unanswered points in the third quarter to put them up 17-14. The Cowboys struck first in the fourth quarter, but the Cyclones got the ball back on the ensuing possession and scored what ultimately would be the deciding factor in the game.
With the win, Iowa State would need to win out and need another loss by either Oklahoma State and Oklahoma or 2 losses by the Baylor Bears. It's going to come down to the wire in that Big 12, and I'm excited to see how it plays out, Johnny.
It's definitely going to be a tight race. When we come back from the break, we will get the scoop on the Western Illinois baseball team. Stick around as Jack and I will also preview the MLB World Series.
Taking me home, taking me home.
Here, I engineer the future.
Taking me home.
Here, I have countless opportunities.
Taking me home.
Here, I do research.
Right here at Western.
My colleague Jack Bell had the opportunity to talk to head baseball coach Andy Pasco to discuss the Leatherneck's fall season and get coaches' expectations for the spring.
The Western Illinois baseball team wrapped up its fall season with the Purple and Gold World Series. Despite dropping Game 1, the Gold team was able to capture the series with wins in Game 2 and Game 3. One player that stood out was fifth-year senior Dylan Sears. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Dylan was given an extra year of eligibility like most other athletes. In his 5th and final Purple Gold World Series, Sears had himself a weekend. He had 2 home runs in both Game 1 and Game 2, along with multiple other base knocks and defensive web gems. Coach Andy Pasco shares his insights on Sears and the leadership he brings to the team.
It's great to see because he's also a guy that this past spring had a lot of hard luck. He went out there, his batting average doesn't show how well he hit this past spring. If you look at his numbers, they don't look good. But if you actually watched his at bats and took note of them, they were really good. Hit a lot of hard hit balls that were caught right at guys, whatever. But at the end of the day, that kid works his tail off, day in and day out. Comes to the park, even if it's for the last half hour to hour of practice. and really does lead the team. So it was great to see him come out and have success throughout this whole fall, especially, like I said, after a tough spring, just from a luck standpoint. But he comes out, he leads the team in hitting, leads the team as a field general, and then, finishes it off, caps off the fall with a really good Fall World Series.
Having Dylan and a number of other fifth-year seniors to guide the 17 underclassmen on the roster has been a huge impact so far this year.
Because there's, a lot of inexperience, within those 17 guys. So having all that experience from the fifth-year guys who've been through so much, played so many college games, it's huge. It's important for those guys to show these young guys, the freshmen, sophomores, how to go about their business, how to handle the day in and day out of playing college baseball, and then handling all the trials and tribulations, and just overall how to play the game. They've been, all the seniors have been really good examples of how to play baseball properly, how to go about their business properly.
Coach Pasco is excited to see what the team has in store for the spring campaign.
Feel pretty good about it. I like, where our mindset's at right now. We still have a lot of work to do, but, I feel really confident in, the assistant coaches are going to help develop these guys, but also, more importantly, the work that I feel like this team is going to put in. There's a different, hungry mindset in this fall, and I'm really excited to kind of see how these next 4 months play out leading into the season, because these guys, they want them good, and you can feel it and you can see it.
With Leatherneck Insider, I'm Jack Bell.
Thanks, Jack. The MLB postseason is coming to a close as the World Series is underway. The Braves took Game 1 last night 6-2. Jorge Soler led the game off with the leadoff homer, the first time that has ever happened in a World Series game. That home run ultimately set the tone for the game. Jack, what are your thoughts and predictions for the series?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. The Braves are extremely hot right now. And to be honest with you, what Jock Peterson said today in his interview, no one's really beaten them, and he's not wrong. And I think that they're going to carry that into it. Eddie Rosario and Freddie Freeman are both, hitting the ball extremely well. Eddie Rosario was the National League Championship Series MVP, and I think they continue that if they can keep their pitching staff healthy. They lost Charlie Morton last night to the fracture in his tibia. He will be out for the remainder of the season. But I think that their bullpen and their starting staff is good enough to get them the World Series win.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the pitching here. The deciding factor for me was like the Astros are going to be without Lance McCullers and their ace there, but now the Braves lost Charlie Morton, so it kind of evens it out here. So it just depends on how the teams hit. The Braves have been the hotter team right now, and it's really going to come down to the bullpen and stuff, which teams can pitch better. And Christian Javier and Framber Valdez have 22 earned runs combined in the postseason, so they haven't been that hot, but it's going to come down to who can hit.
Absolutely, and I think the story is for the Braves and Tyler Matzik, drafted in 2009, a first-round pick to Colorado, developed the yips, which is something that a baseball player never wants to develop, could not throw a baseball. He was cut by multiple different teams that included the White Sox, the Diamondbacks, and the Mariners. Finally got a shot with the Braves, and he's tearing it up right now, and he seems to be the leader in that staff. And you got Max Fried, who's been a starter and been reliable for them all season, and hopefully they can keep it going. And I got the Braves in 5.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to come down to the wire. I think it's going to be close, but I'm going to go with the Braves in 7. I think they're just the better team right now. I think their bullpen is going to come through, and Freddie Freeman, Jorge Soler, Eddie Rosario, they're all going to pull through. So Braves in 7 for me.
Absolutely. That is all the time that we have on Leatherneck Insider today. Be sure to give us a follow on our new Twitter at Insider@WIU, as well as on our Instagram, and be sure to like us on Facebook. Leatherneck Insider will be back next week to bring you more news. Until then, I'm Jack Bell.
And I'm Johnny Jazarowski. Thank you for tuning in, and have a wonderful rest of your week.